Yum, yum!
Hey everybody, new update on the rig prototyping. So I have been working on the mouth and in particular the mouth corner. So the transport, to use a fancy word I guess, of the mouth corner as it slides along, into the back of the cheek, as well as when your mouth corner up. So the idea is deal with, kind of opening, the mouth as well as lifting that mouth corner up. The next step will be to do the jaw, so that you can actually open the mouth, but this is the first step. So what we did is working with two different deformations and then combining them. So we do this. We basically are dealing with a slide that moves the mouth corner there, and I can actually kind of show it this way. Just kind of pulls it around, pulls it forward. Now I didn't do any cleanup forward. I was just kind of sliding it and working it back. Right, and then dealing with moving the mouth upward. So let's kill this here, and then moving the mouth corner up. Right, I will get into this shape and what it looks like. I keep wanting to point at the screen. Why this shape is important, the default football shape, and how you make all these pieces play together. But for now, I was just trying to, more than anything, playing around with combining the weights, dealing with different weight containers and making sure all that worked right. So far, pretty good. But let's talk about that idea a little bit just to give you some context. So what's nice about this system is that that I can actually craft these weights independently. So that means, and let me actually show you what that looks like. You can see the weighting. So let's go to vertex map here. So this is the weighting for the slide over. So when I slide the mouth corner over, right, and I pull this way, that's what this weight map is here, right? That's what that looks like. So if I wanted to edit it, I could go in here and I could start editing the weights. Hey, all right, a little hiccup there. So I grab this weight, and then it allows me to mug it around. I can set up, and I've got to put this over here. You do fine steps to it. At this point, it's little tweaks. This tool is actually really nice for anybody that's ever used it. I can just right-click and grab a new point, right-click, grab a new point, right-click, grab a new point to adjust this weighting, which is nice. I don't have to drop the tool. I can just kind of keep going around. You can select a whole bunch of stuff at once and move it. So I found this tool to be pretty helpful for this kind of a thing. So anyway, I'm able to pull these points, craft them, and get kind of the shape I want. Now, of course, I'm in insane mode now. Let's go to shaded here. I pulled the mouth corner way beyond what I'm actually going to do in any kind of animation stuff. But it's always a good idea to overdrive these things and make sure they're clean. It's also really good when you overdrive any movement, that you can make sure that the fall off your weighting is nice and smooth. So let's actually just go like crazy here. So I'll go here and just to kind of illustrate this point. So let's say I'm going to pull this here, and I'm just going to go into like stupid land, right? And you actually can see a couple of warbles. This is actually a good idea, right? So I've gone to 960 degrees. Probably not what we're going to do in the real world, but you know what it did show up? See how you get these little shapes here and these little breaks in it? If I go through here and I clean this up, so let's do this now. So I'm going to grab the weight container that I want to work with, which is my left mouth side, and go into my weight mode here. And now I can go here and I can play around with that. Oops, I grabbed the wrong weight container. Let's grab the side over. Okay. So now as I tweak this, and see I'm making little tiny tweaks, but what it's going to do by doing this is it keeps all these lines, all of the, these shapes clean. All right, so I can do this kind of a thing, and I can pull this stuff up. And I don't want to change it all too much because I know that the shape is already doing what I want. But what I've done is I've cleaned that up. So what's nice about overdriving is you can see if there's any kind of non-clean transitions. If you've got something, moving harshly, you can add a little bit of weight to the end so it just kind of tapers and looks nice and clean. But what's nice about that is when you do it, you get a much cleaner, let's go here to this guy, and I'll put it back into normal range. And now when I pull this, if you'll notice, is that you've got lots of little subtle movement happening up at the top here, right? So I'm moving this around. See how this is just tugging a little bit? It's a very kind of organic, natural, fleshy feel. And that kind of stuff is really hard to do when you're only doing a little bit. In this case, I'm only moving the mouth corner a little bit. But by overdriving it, then you can see where those breaks happen and where movement is basically stopping, and then add just a little bit. You can also see where things might not be totally clean, so that they all play nice together when you pull them around. So anyway, that's sort of a weighting theory kind of thing. But back to the point of being able to have different weights for different things, we'll go back to our view here. So go back to our left side over. What's nice is I make this look really good. I make the side look really clean. I go now to the up and I can make it different. You can see that the weighting is very different between these two movements, but they have to play nice together, right? So if I can't just work in isolation, you start in isolation, but you don't want to finish there. So if I go and we'll go back to shaded view just so that you can see the shape better, right? So I've talked about this, and we talked about this, but you really want to be able to go like this and get a reasonable shape. And I'm going to do this here so we can kind of move it together, right? So this is the shape that you normally see people opening up their mouth for a smile, right? I might be overdriving this a little bit, but generally speaking, this is kind of what we're looking for. And that means that I spent time making sure that up looked good, that side looked good, but then up and side also played nice together. And it's this balance of errors, which is a term that it's something I'm familiar with. Hippodrome in his training talks about it too. But it's going, all right, I'm going to make both of these guys work and find that common middle ground that's going to give me a shape that I want. And that's what we've got here, right? So now we have a fleshy looking cheek. We're getting movements over here and everything's nice. And the way I did that was did the up, did the over, and then when I put them up together like this, while these deformers are firing and giving me this shape, I'll go to the left side up. We'll go back into our weight mode here. And now what I can do is I can grab this and I can start playing around with it. And if I need to, I can change it to the slide over, and I can play with that too, right? And that's the beauty of this. All these weights are contained in these weight containers, individual buckets basically, and I can quickly switch between them, adjust them. So while things are in combination, which is kind of a problem for most people that are getting started with rigging, is yep, I can make my elbow look good here, or I can make my shoulder look good here, and I can make it look good here, but what happens when it's all the way up there, right? It's that in combination is really where the artistry takes place. So this system of kind of breaking them up into chunks and then looking at them together and layering them together over and over is a great way to do that. So anyway, this is good. This turned out good. Now, check this out. I got one more thing to show you guys. So so this is good for general, but what I wanted is I want some volume. So I added in a magnet effector, which is like a repulse effect, pushes things away. So I can go here and I can turn this on, right? So now you can see that I've got this guy here. It's adding volume to the cheek, and I did not clean this up as much as I just wanted to play around with it and add it. But check this out. This is really cool. If I can get to my animation controls again, right? Turn these off. So now if I do my left slide over, right? See how I'm getting that bulge? I need to spend a bunch of time cleaning, adjusting, getting it to come in and drive nice and smoothly up, but you know, I was just playing around. So now I'm adding that cheek bulge, and that's what this is here. If I grab this, right, I'm adding mass to the cheek as you're pulling it back, which is pretty cool. And then it happens a little bit when you go up. You actually don't notice it much here, but it's when you combine up with over, then what you do is, yeah, I'm doing right. And then you'll see that it's pulling this stuff up, and it's adding volume up this way, right? Pulling that up, and then you see, and it's going like this, right? Now I'm in ridiculo land, right? We're not going to be pulling the face around that much, but that's basically the idea. Is that to add a actually let's do this just for funsies. And make it so that I can show you what's pulling, right? Just see that kind of mass kind of fill and pull up. So anyway, fun times. Let's turn this up so we can just, right. Anyway, cool stuff. I think mouth corner for the most part is going to do what I want it to do. I think I've got the pieces of the puzzle that I need. Obviously, it needs lots of tuning and lots of love to bring it home, but pretty happy with it. So next step will be either the jaw or the other aspects of the mouth, moving the mouth itself around, and the lips and stuff like that. So anyway, progress in the prototyping journey. Pretty happy with the way it's going. So talk to you guys later.